Welcome everybody to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge, episode number 161.
Hey,
That's Addy. I'm
I nearly
Alex.
missed my cue.
There's Pink.
Hello there.
Pink!
Yeah?
Hey,
What's up?
fuck you.
Oh,
Anyways, what you got anything going up on your channel this week?
I will hopefully have a Venom playthrough in Guilty Gear coming up this week. Because that's all I've done. That's all I managed to accomplish.
Alright, you got all the balls on screen?
Yeah, that's precisely why I chose him. I was like, I've played this character once. I'm not very good with him. I don't really know how he works, but I can spawn balls and smack them all over the map. So what else do I need?
So Pink, I don't remember if it was in XX as well, but at least in X Venom can balls me there as well. Use that knowledge to your advantage in the future.
You can do that. Yeah, you can do that next too. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Venom is the character that it's like first step, balls. Second step, figure out everything else Venom can do.
First step, balls. Second step, teleport. Third step, dive kick.
I have not figured out how to teleport yet.
Me neither. I've done it multiple times before, but I still don't know the input. Like, the thing is, I do it semi-consistently now, and I still don't know the input. I don't know how that happens.
Addy, you got anything coming out on your channels this week?
Not likely, although I did record a video, but I'll come back to that.
All right.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, on my end, I have almost certainly got coming out this week another part of playing Stardew Valley with Soon and Mike. We were not able to get together to record last week due to a variety of issues, which is why it took so long to come out with a part 2. But we should be able to get it done sometime soonish. I also have recorded another one of the little Road to Total War Warhammer 3 videos where I sit down and talk about whatever the fuck while the AI beats the shit out of each other. And this particular one I record is regarding the Dwarfs and the Warriors of Chaos and how they are... they got a little bit boring rosters, in a sense. And I realize that is not relevant to you two, nor is it really relevant to anyone who could potentially watch this podcast, that 1 or 2 regular viewers. But hey, for some reason, those particular videos actually get, around 100 views per video, so I guess somebody watches them.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
You found your niche.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Cue that video of creatures Alex crying.
It's
somewhere on the forums, but I'm too lazy to look for it.
Yeah. I'm sure he has to do it half the time now that the creatures are just entirely fucking dead.
I mean, not only that, but so is Couch Up. Then again, like, from what I remember, from the shit that he and James has said after that, both of them wanted that shit dead. And the only reason Alex was there until it died officially was because he couldn't get out of the contract faster. I didn't pay attention to Cow Chop at all. I didn't watch any of their stuff. I watched Cow Chop because I was nostalgic, and I mean, some of their content was nice because of the what's the word? The chemistry between the two.
Yeah.
And they like basically some of their shows were just shit like buying props so they can mess around with them and shit. And those turned out okay because they worked well off of each other. But then it started becoming Jackass, and then James got hurt, and he quit.
Surprise, surprise.
And then everyone else also quit. So
yeah, it was definitely a wise idea to get that started with James, a guy who had to start... Didn't James have to start being in a wheelchair even back in the Creatures days?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I mean, The repartee between the chemistry between James and Alex was pretty obvious, even going back to like when Alex got James, when Sly introduced Alex to the group. But I wouldn't have told you that the creatures would have fell apart and James and Alex would have stuck together for at least a little bit longer than the others.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wonder if Sly and Alex do videos again nowadays, because I know that they both still do videos.
All three of them still do. I think like people have asked about Creatures reunion without Jordan and all, and the other people that caused the downfall. And James was like, I'm still friends with those guys. We just don't do videos together because we want to do stuff alone. It's been years since we were able to do that.
Dan did organize a Creatures reunion. I don't think
Oh
James.
yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, James and Jordan weren't there. It was him, Chilled, and Gassy, and I think Z. Spoon? Yeah, I think Spoon. They may have got the other guys in there too, like Junk, in case you remember Junkyard being a creature. Yeah.
Right, that's going way back.
Faintly.
Yeah. Chilled left
Didn't
before
some
Junk,
shit-
didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't some
Or
shit
it
come
might have
out
been at the same
about
time,
Chilled?
though.
It might have been, because I think Chilled left because of personal issues with James around the same time that Junk left because they said he was too old pretty well.
Yeah.
Which is definitely very funny because those, not only are Chilled and Junk still around, but they're both still pretty successful. Chilled is probably bigger than any of the creatures except James now, isn't he?
I forget who it was, but there was a guy recently. It might have been Chilled, but there was a guy recently who was somewhat related to those guys. That's that group of friends who got freaking cancelled recently.
No, Chilled's still going. I still watch his videos. He makes really good Among Us content.
I wouldn't be interested. Even then.
I dig
I
that
don't
kind
know.
of Let's Play,
Yeah.
the Among Us TTT intrigue kind of stuff, you know?
I grew out of it, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. I'm just not really like. I appreciate the chance for roleplay and shit, but like it being the soul type of content doesn't really interest me anymore.
Well, I'm subscribed to other channels.
But yeah, but I like the same people doing different things as well.
I suppose so.
Like, yeah.
No, I just said I suppose so.
Like freaking I searched up what Adam Savage is doing. No, this wasn't recently. This was like freaking 5 years ago. But I searched up what Adam Savage is doing because I used to watch Mythbusters a lot when I was growing up, and then I found out that he just builds shit now, and like that's genuinely all he does on YouTube, and I enjoy it because he, he tries explaining things the best way he can, but sometimes even his knowledge is spotty, even though he's been doing shit for like 40 years.
Did they split the jobs? Adam has a YouTube channel about building things, and Jamie has a YouTube channel about blowing things up?
No, actually, they started a YouTube channel. Well, they bought a company that did the YouTube channel initially together, and then Jamie left because he didn't want to be in front of a camera anymore.
And
so now it's only Adams.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Him and Adam never particularly got along, anyways, right?
Well, they weren't friends. It was a strictly freaking. It was a professional relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like even now, Adam refers to Jamie as his boss because that's what he was for the longest time.
I couldn't imagine having a boss who's got the fucking Devil May Cry sword proudly on display in his office every day.
I mean, dude's building a mech. Last time I saw him on camera, he was building a big spider mech from freaking Watch Dogs 1. Jamie, like as boring as he does, he can come off. I think Jamie might be the weirder one.
Jamie never struck me as boring just because of his appearance. He automatically, you know. Like, obviously, Adam's the one with, like, the more exuberant personality who is clearly much more verbose. But every time they focused on Jamie, it was this fucking walrus. It was like, I'm gonna blow it up. I think we're gonna need more C4. I'm starting to. I'm pretty well imagining Jamie Heineman as fucking Wilford Brimley.
but with more explosives.
Yeah. Replacing diabetes with explosives. Just imagine Jamie Heineman doing a fucking commercial for a foundation about C4 explosives. If you don't have C4 explosives, call this number. Alright. So,
It's just his dealer.
You make it sound like he has to get C4 like crack. Jamie Hyman has to meet with his dealer in the back alley. He's like, you got the stuff?
I'll pay you 3 pig carcasses for 30 kilos of C4.
The idea of what would they do with the pig carcasses?
I don't know.
Like, he's just giving them food? Just the idea of trading food directly for drugs and or explosives.
Why not?
Our drug system is functioning on a barter economy.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to trace the freaking pig carcasses back to Jamie?
I guess not, but like, I will give you 2 cows for an AK-47. Interesting. That's the American dream right there, I guess. Oh, it's a fucking Sumerian dream. Pank, did you see the new Civ leader reveal?
Yeah, it's Santa Claus.
Yeah. I'm really interested with what people have been suggesting that it might be Kublai Khan, like in the kind of Catherine of Aquitaine position.
Yeah. I mean, from the very start, that's what everyone was assuming when they said, "Oh, this new leader, you're gonna need the Rise and Fall expansion to play it." It's like then you go through all the Rise and Fall civs, and you're like, yeah, from everyone out of here, Mongolia and Kublai are really the only options."
Yeah, and hasn't Kublai been the leader of Mongolia in like half the fucking Civ games?
Yes.
So that makes sense.
I know for a fact that he was at least a leader in Civ 3 and 4.
I know 4. I own 4. But admittedly, Kublai's a pretty obvious choice. The Mongolians are pretty historically important. And
I would say so.
Genghis Khan, as iconic as he is mostly good for ass kicking and not a whole lot else. So, if you want you want a leader for Mongolia with a little bit more of a civil focus, Kublai's the obvious choice.
Right.
Go ahead, sorry.
I do find it funny that China's 2 leader choices are bigger guy with a beard or bigger guy with a beard. Alright, what were you going to say, Eddie?
I was going to say like I don't play Civ because of my PC not running it, but like still I wish they would like if they had Mongolia, then they would make freaking Genghis DLC leader, and then just call him Big Chinggis.
There is almost certainly a mod. Okay, no, not Big Chengiz. No, Chungus Khan.
I mean, yeah, but Big Chinggis is funnier because Chinggis is actually closer to how you're supposed to pronounce Genghis.
I know, but the idea of photoshopping like a little Mongolian hat onto Big Chungus. Hank, what you been up to this past week, man?
Not a lot. I've downloaded Smite on the Switch, and I've been playing that. It's been fun.
How's the raccoon balls?
Raccoon? What? Oh yeah, new
hero
guy. Yeah. He's very interesting. I have not played him yet because I don't have him. I would have to play on my Xbox or the family Switch in order to access all the gods because I don't have that luxury on my Switch. A lot of he's like a hunter but mixed with Bacchus because he can make everyone drunk. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So
what happened if him and Bacchus are on the same team?
And everyone gets drunk.
Double
have a
drunk. Oh no!
hangover for years.
Yeah. Uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Switch have a fairly strange fairly strange control style on Switch?
No, or at
Oh,
least not as far as I'm aware. It's the same as the Xbox so
oh,
far. Yeah.
okay, I'm wrong.
The only weird thing is that you need to physically jump to actually make the character jumping game because of motion controls.
I mean, maybe if you were to like use one of the Joy Cons, like when you're supposed to hold it like sideways, and you get like two buttons and a control stick or a control pad. I guess then they would have to really modify the controls for you. But no, if you got two Joy Cons or a Pro controller or whatever, it operates very much the same as the Xbox.
Not just do it big brain play style. Just plug your keyboard and mouse into the Switch.
I don't even know if that would be possible.
I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure the Switch
This
only
is
has a micro
Nintendo we're
USB
talking
port.
about.
Nintendo, it's not. We don't have the keyboard feature. As a matter of fact, next month we're releasing an update. We're going to take away the GameCube controller feature support.
In fact, we are sending ninjas to your house right now to remove the GameCube as well.
Oh man.
If you wanted to use the GameCube support, you should have done it in the first 3 months. I fucking hate Nintendo.
Oh yeah, they're the worst. Absolutely.
I think that they're better than 2K in terms of 2K stringing you along for cash. But they're worse than 2K in terms of, for one thing, being old grandpa that doesn't understand the industry that they are a part of, and also their deliberate artificial scarcity.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to support that shit from Nintendo. Fuck off. Actually fuck off. I fuck you. I ain't doing that.
You know, so sometimes I think about like the 3 Switch exclusive games that I would actually want to play, and I'm like, you know, maybe I should get a Nintendo, and then I remember Nintendo tax.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like I can't afford video games anyway, so
Yeah.
I especially can't afford Nintendo games.
How do you feel about 7-year-old games being $60, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Pay up, fucker. Alright, did you do anything else?
I don't believe so. I think that was genuinely wait, I didn't do that either. I saw the final couple 5 minutes or so of WandaVision, the second episode, I think.
Oh.
But I didn't see anything else, so no. I did nothing.
Alright, Eddie.
All right. I started and finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I think. I forget. All of those games are titled the same.
It goes Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but they're all trying to depict Lara's origin story, and every single time she's like, man, killing sucks, and then she kills somebody, and she's
Yeah,
like,
I know. I've played all of them now.
yeah. So you played the same game 3 times, huh?
Yes. But with worse mechanics. That's the thing.
Oh.
Tomb Raider was an okay base. Rise of the Tomb Raider started removing things so that they can add them back in the form of crafting and freaking microtransactions. Shadow of the Tomb Raider added in freaking survival mechanics on top of that, because why not? But yeah, so Shadow of the Tomb Raider is Tomb Raider Reboot 3. Like not even the third installment in it, just legitimately, like, you know when you pick up more of the same item and in the brackets it just says the number of how many times you get it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just that you just picked up the Tomb Raider reboot for the third time again.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jonah dies for the fourth time this game, and he's still not dead.
Is Lara finally the Tomb Raider?
No. Well, she's more of a Tomb Raider. She's more of the Tomb Raider than in the other games, but still not the Tomb Raider that I would want her to be. Because I have this mental image of Lara where she's a badass. Like she's still able to be passionate and cares about things and like into history and shit. But she's a badass. She like you send like 13 people after her and like she may be grazed by like one bullet. Because she to me she's that sort of action hero character.
Yeah, but instead they want her to be Katniss from the Hunger Games.
Well, no. Instead, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, she is like Greek trilogy Kratos. If instead of angry, Kratos was pathetic. Like that was his defining trait.
Revenge is a really easy motivation to write.
And like the worst part is they actually got it right for like 10 minutes. There's this one section in the game where Jonah dies again. Again.
You
And
bastards!
yeah. And Laura does the stereotypical like freaking action movie thing where she's like, okay, now I'm gonna get serious. Bullets don't hurt me anymore. And you do that, and that whole sequence is actually pretty good because like you actually feel undefeatable and shit. And they built it right. It was good. And then you go through that section which takes like I don't know 3 minutes or so, maybe not even that. You go through that section. And then they end it with Laura eating shit and then crying. Like, just immediately ruined. Because,
Does every Tomb Raider reboot game have a scene where Lara just breaks down and cries?
yes, but this one has like 3.
Oh!
Now it has 2.
Okay.
It has 2 scenes where Laura breaks down and cries. It has 2 scenes where one of her friends dies and she gets serious, but not really because you can't feel overprotective or whatever the writer wanted. if she actually has a freaking spine, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Out of all of the out of all of the major pop culture like adventure freaking archaeologist characters like Indiana Jones, Nathan Drake, and Lara Croft, because those are the only 3 that I know. But out of those 3, Lara was my favorite because I don't know what set her apart, but to me she was the coolest. And then now that they've rebooted her, she's the worst. Like I legitimately take Nathan Drake's womanizing bullshit because at least sometimes he gets to be a badass and shuts up. And then, doesn't hit on a woman for like 30 minutes while he's nearly dying and doing cool shit.
I would say that
And
there's a lot of similarity between those 3 characters, honestly. To the point that the only reason Lara is a chick is because they didn't want her to be a complete Indiana Jones ripoff. But
yeah, I mean, both Lara and Nathan Drake are just straight indie ripoffs, but like,
I'd say it's a difference of the way that their confidence gets played off.
yeah.
Indy's arrogant, but he's kind of a lovable idiot with his arrogance. Nathan Drake's arrogant, but it's played up as more kind of a character flaw. With Lara, when she's arrogant, it's like, oh yeah, she's earned it. Like, when Lara's arrogant, it's because, oh no, she's actually just that good, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, classic Lara, of course, not
Yeah,
Katniss
classic Lara. Yeah, new Lara is boy. Do we care? When did this game come out?
A year or
2012?
2 ago.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Shadow's
do
the
we-
most recent one, yeah.
Do we
Oh,
care
that's
about
true.
spoilers?
Most recent, I forget.
Do we
I've,
care about spoilers?
I've already seen the bit they cut out of the ending where they reference a very classic Tomb Raider character.
Ah,
I'm going to assume the ending doesn't do anything interesting since they cut out referencing a character who actually seemed kind of interesting.
no, not really. No, the ending is just the ending is just status quo is God, basically.
Of course.
Like the only thing that changed between the start of the game and the end of the game is that the native I don't know what to call them, like the native golem people that live under the ground killed the whole antagonist faction more or less. and that's the only because God forbid Laura actually kills someone. We can't have that.
Admittedly, having
Because
the villains get killed by the thing they were looking for is an Indiana Jones classic.
that's not what they're looking for either, though.
Oh,
They just happen to be there.
well, admittedly, I don't think the Nazis in the arc of the... Oh, fuck. How am I forgetting the name of the first Indiana Jones movie? Pink Helmet.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I don't think the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark were looking for the face-melting light inside the Ark. They were looking for the Ark itself.
True. Well, like with this thing, it's like they're looking for 3 separate MacGuffins to summon Kukulkan, so that Kukulkan can end the world and then start a new
Oh
reboot.
my god,
No.
that is the most generic villain motive.
Yes. And so the thing with the native Golan people that live underground is that they're keeping one piece of the 3-piece MacGuffin safe, and then that's their thing for like I don't know 20 minutes while they're on screen. Then they're written off, and then they come back for the ending where they're just there helping Laura because Laura is the chosen one. I'm not shitting you. That is actually something they wrote.
Doesn't even remotely surprise me.
Like there's the leader of the normal native people that live in Paititi, I think was the name of the settlement. The normal native people have a leader that has been deposed by the antagonist faction's leader, and she's trying to rebel, and she wears her hair like very similarly to Laura's, and then she gives Laura the same outfit that she has, and is then killed off, and then Laura takes up her role.
So Laura absorbed her soul.
Yes,
Intriguing.
but not through traditional means, sadly.
She doesn't Shang Tsung her, I guess. I'm curious to hear. One thing I've heard used as a descriptor for the Tomb Raider reboot series is they wrote a lesbian romance as much as they could without actually writing a lesbian romance.
With whom?
The Asian chick, I think.
I don't even remember an Asian chick
Oh.
like existing. Like, maybe in the second game.
No,
In which
she was
case I would have forgot about it.
No, she
Yeah?
was definitely there since the first. Laura's best friend?
I don't know. By the third game, her best friend is Jonah.
Oh.
the Asian chick ceased existing.
Oh. Maybe what I heard was that Tomb Raider 1 was that the girl was supposed to be the lesbian love interest, but the producers wouldn't let them.
Oh, maybe, yeah. It would make sense for that. But yeah,
I don't know about you, but Laura
yeah.
seems like the type to take all comers. Hey.
I mean, I don't know. To me, Laura is a person who finds more freaking more enjoyment in destroying historical monuments than
True.
sex.
She is a weirdly asexual character, yeah. It's one of those cases like Resident Evil where when you look back on the series, you're like, wow, this is a universe where no one fucks, huh?
Yeah. That's why Akuma's playable in 2.
Yeah. Oh no, like wait,
heard-
Leon fucks. Okay, Leon is the only person in Resident Evil who's allowed to fuck. And only once! Off screen! I guess Barry has to have kids. Of course Barry Burton would be the only one. Barry Burton and Wesker. Oh god, how is Wesker one of the only 3 Resident Evil characters where confirmed that they've had sex at some point?
How could you believe Wesker hadn't, though?
Something about the fucking blonde slick back hair like Agent Smith, the fucking black trench coat, the fucking black sunglasses, and walking around all the time like, oh, I'm Albert Wesker. Cleanse the world! Something about that just doesn't seem like the peak of sexual, attraction.
Maybe not to you, but come on now.
I guess so. And how did Barry get laid? Well, no, I know how Barry got laid, but I mean, still.
Pity?
You guys
Jill
remember?
Sandwich.
Fucking Mr. Jill Sandwich, Mr. You, the master of unlocking, could make better use of this. I hope this isn't Chris's blood. He was our old partner, you know. Oh man, I need to point that out to Mike the next time I record something with him, that Barry's one of the only 3 Resident Evil characters confirmed to have sex. Because me and Mike love to make fun of Barry as much as possible. Oh, I'm gonna bring that up during Stardew. I'll figure out the most inappropriate time to bring it up.
Perfect.
We're gonna be farming onions, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Mike, did you know that Barry Burton fucks?"
Bring it up. Bring it up during his wedding.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to object? Yes, me. Barry Burton had sex.
Anyways, carry on. I didn't mean to interrupt the wedding. I just wanted to let everyone know. Yeah, Mike's trying to rush headlong into marriage in that game as quickly as possible. He just can't figure out how to actually seduce women. Yeah, it's very funny because, like, Soon goes into the mines and tries to actually, like, get the things done of finding minerals and fighting monsters, and I'm, the one doing all the farming. Mike just wanders around town, like, looking for women.
Freaking kids percent speedrun.
Yeah. Oh god, there's going to be too many kids on the farm. Jesus, that didn't occur to me that there's going to be too many people on that fucking farm. There's 3 of us. If each of us gets married and has a kid, fuck. Alright. Addy, you do anything else this week?
Yes, I also started playing Greedfall.
Greedfall, I heard a little bit about it. I heard it's from a studio that's not so great, but I heard Greedfall itself is pretty good.
It is made by spiders, which means I hate the game.
Literal spiders or figurative spiders?
I don't know. The game, when you boot it up, the game just says a game by spiders, so I have to assume that it's my natural enemies.
Was it made by individual spiders having to walk all over a keyboard, or was it made by
Spiders, man.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask.
But yeah, I don't know. Freaking like I don't know what Soon would call this genre because he's the RPG guy. I'll just call it what I can, which is Eurojank Witcher, like even more Eurojank Witcher.
Oh boy! Without the sex, right?
Yeah, without the sex, so it is a bit better.
Yeah.
But, freaking like I don't know. The fighting mechanic sucks ass.
Yeah.
I've gotten used to it, but it's still not fun. And there's 2 of them, and neither of them are good. Because either it's like imagine if the Shadow of Mordor fighting mechanic was choppier. Is the best way I can put it.
Ooh.
And that's a good bit of Greedfall. On the active side.
Unintentional flash stepping.
Yes. On the active side, then you also have a tactical mode, which works like Final Fantasy 12. Not 12. Final Fantasy 10 too. Whichever one I own, I forget. It's 12. I own 12. Yeah, Final Fantasy 12. Which means that like movement. Well, okay, I actually need to explain that as well because Final Fantasy 12 also had 2 separate fighting mechanics. Well, it wasn't 2 separate ones. It was just 2 versions of the same one that both kind of sucked in different ways. Because one way that you could play Final Fantasy 12 was on always active system where you would be able to move around and the enemies would also be able to move around and attack you while you chose the menu options. And then on the other one was more traditional where you could move around between turns, and then when it was your turn, you could the game would freeze, and then you would have to choose what movement option to take.
Okay.
So in Greedfall is the second one, the tactical way to do it.
All right.
But yeah, so that's just a combat mechanic. The world exists. I mean, it's not particularly interesting to me, but then I'm not really big on like middle ages to Renaissance fantasy. So like, so some people might like it. I don't know. It's a game.
I know Ted was hyped about it.
I feel like I remembered it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. I don't know what to say to that. And there was a third thing that I did, which is the thing I recorded a video of, which was I actually managed to beat Justice in Guilty Gear 1,
Ooh, alright.
finally, for the second time. Because I didn't record the first time. But yeah, so that actually goes into something else, kind of, I suppose, which is for the first time in I don't know how long, I was actually able to have fun recording alone, and that's because of the words, the conversation we had during the middle of the week. Like after it, I was like, you know what? Bloody hell, that needs a bit more explanation, I suppose. So you know how I listed the pros and cons and shit like that about the different things that I want. I guess is the easy way to put it.
Yeah.
And so while writing that, I think I even pointed out in that while writing that, I was like, well, you know, like acting stupid and like the part of me that wants me to act stupid and shit. I can bring up or pros for it rather easily, and I can actually like point out multiple good things about it. And the side of me that wants me to stay more or less the same. I'm having a hard time figuring out what's good about it. So I probably should move in the other way. So I've been trying to get more comfortable being stupid, I guess. I don't freaking know. And that's the thing, like,
What
yeah.
you gotta do is you gotta play Weird Al Yankovic's Dare to Be Stupid on loop.
Yes. But yeah, I've noticed this being a cycle of things. Like, I take baby steps forward, and then I take two normal steps back, and then I have a freaking a freak out because I took two steps back, and I don't know how to step forward. So I went to you to the two of you, and then I can actually move forward again. And that's why I said, like, even if you can't really um like give examples of your own on how to deal with this shit, it's fine if you're just there, because like I wouldn't have been able to actually write a 900 word essay about that, even just that small issue, if I wouldn't have been trying to write it to y'all, to explain to y'all for some reason. it's the weird mental blocks that you need to get around.
Whatever you need to parse your thoughts, really. Because sometimes that can be bizarrely difficult, even though it's going on in your own brain.
Yeah.
Your brain
Your
is
brain
just...
is weird.
Yeah, sometimes your brain is just like, too much information, fucking stop!
I mean, that's been my brain for the past month. this whole past month, because I've been having freaking like more or less constant headaches every day, which was very nice. But hey, at least most of the times when I wasn't deciding shit, it didn't hurt too much, so I could actually live. But you know.
You know, when I was a teenager, and I don't necessarily recommend this, but when I was a teenager, even though I don't believe in the supernatural, I would sometimes use tarot cards to try and parse my thoughts.
Ah.
I don't know, there was something about it, like when it just gave me random chance, and whether I liked what it gave me or not helped me to parse my thoughts on whether I actually cared about something, right?
Yeah.
It's that thing of like, you don't know that you have an answer you want, but you don't know the answer that your brain wants. So you ask the magic 8 ball, and if you're disappointed with the answer it gives you, or whatever, then you have a bit more of an idea of what your brain wants, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't really do that so much anymore. I don't know. There's something about around the time you turn 21, 22, you get to where you can parse out your own brain a little bit better, at least in my case.
Yeah, for me it seems the exact opposite, because when I was restricting that part of my brain, I was more or less fine with everything. I knew myself pretty okay, because I guess I only needed to really know like freaking 70% of myself. But and now that it's decided, because and actually I guess I sort of did figure out why the sudden, well, it wasn't sudden, but why it kind of decided that it wants to be out now, which is well, I had this vision inside of me of who I'll be in my teenage years, and I never actually accomplished that. And
Yeah.
I put that I put that shit on a pedestal when I was freaking in my single digits. So that same part of me is like, yo, motherfucker, slow the hell down. You left me in the dust. Also, you're a furry now. We've decided.
The teenagers have a lot of weird ideas about what they'll do someday.
Like that wasn't even my teenage years. That was like that was when I was 7. I decided, hey, by the time I'm like, I don't know, 17, I'll know how to play guitar. I'll look this way. I'll be cool to me. And none of those came true. So at the start of last year, I dyed my hair because I wanted to dye my hair to be cool to me. Now I'm learning how to play guitar and shit. And I also freaking like, oh, I don't remember the English name for it. What's the thing called where you pay more on credit?
Interest?
Yeah, because of interest. Now I'm also a furry. So hey.
Life moves in strange ways.
Yeah. I also did make some freaking some discoveries on that, because just because I brought up that picture a couple of weeks ago when Soon was here, I wasn't satisfied with that, because, well, I don't like, to me, before, I don't know, like 7 or 10 years old doesn't really count, because you're just a stupid little kid. Of course you're gonna freaking dress up like a dog.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, on some level it doesn't count in terms of that kind of thing. But I mean, at the same time, I think that there is way, 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 way more of our lives is dependent on the first 5 years of our life than like we're really comfortable with. It's just this. It's that very strange thing where it seems like what happens in the first 5 years of your development really has a significant effect on the rest of your life. You know?
yeah. I mean, around that time, my favorite thing to do was pretending to be a dog. And by the way, I guess I don't think we ever had it on freaking on recording, but my persona is a wolf. So,
Yeah.
but the thing that I remembered suddenly was when I was 11 or 12, and every couple of years before the two of you um agreed to doing the whole drawing videos thing. Every couple of years I would try to learn how to draw because I was interested in it. I just never thought I had the talent. But one of those years was either like age 11 or 12, somewhere along those lines, which also would have been when I started first restricting this part of me. And I remember that I tried drawing myself, and somehow the drawing ended up being a freaking Entro wolf boy. And I don't know, like I don't know how that for one didn't set off red flags to me, and for two, like how did I think I ended up there? Like, how do you fuck up drawing yourself so hard that it becomes a freaking wolf?
Yeah.
Like I even remember that at the time I couldn't color things because I didn't have the resources. So I even remember the color scheme I gave to it was like this grayish shade of blue and white. So
All
like,
right.
how how does that shit stick? I don't remember. I don't remember what I did like 2 days ago, but I remember that.
Well, the
uh,
long-term memory is a hell of a thing.
true. But yeah, so I've been trying to get more comfortable with all it, and it seems to be working because I was actually able to finish a video game in a day. So like it's starting to get to a point again where I can actually start like slow down on my thinking, which is good because it means that I won't have any more headaches. Hopefully, I have been getting anxious a whole lot more because of the shit that I talked about. But hey, I can just zone it out, like, or at least try my best to zone it out.
Hey, sometimes anxieties are just part of being an adult.
Yeah, and one last thing regarding this whole topic, I guess, that I just find kind of funny. Well, I'll lead up to that and then and the actual thing, I guess. But yeah, so for whatever reason, I was never obsessed with it before, but for whatever reason, I'm just freaking like I don't know which words to use. Despite like I have a vocabulary, I just don't use it. You know, but
I keep it in a glass case on display.
yeah. But like I have been fixated on the idea of being cute for some reason more recently, and I don't know why. Like I'm way past the age of that. So what the fuck? uh, and the reason I'm saying that is that I don't like y'all know that I don't really compliment myself and all that, but trying to make amends with myself and just like try to get things back on track. I have noticed this weird dynamic where consciously, the- okay, subconsciously, I'm completely comfortable with being a furry, but I'm not, for some reason, I'm not comfortable with my sexuality, which I don't know how that happens because I've been open about it for the past 5 years, but it sort of does. But in,
Perhaps that's
yeah,
something you should put some thought into, you know.
yeah, I actually did. I'm gonna finish on what I thought that might be, but like at the same time, consciously, I'm not that comfortable being a furry yet. But I'm pretty comfortable with my sexuality because, like, it's a lot easier. Just I don't like I use it as a sort of thing of like I can make all sorts of freaking overly sexual jokes because I don't have a sex drive, so who gives a shit? It's not like I'm gonna assault either of you. But like it's uh, like I feel like that's easier. It's easier to socially accept than talking like this. But yeah, and the thing the reason I think that subconsciously I may be more uncomfortable with my sexuality is just because like well I know for a fact that I'm asexual, but romantically I don't know which way I lean and lean still because I haven't been in love since kindergarten. So
That wasn't
did I
love,
ever
so.
did I ever tell y'all about that story?
Yes, you
Because
did,
it's
actually.
funny. Did I tell you about the thing that like to me the thing that makes it funny though, and I don't think I shared that part, which is after that like because I was really sad. I have decided after that oh well if that's what love feels like if love makes me that sad then I just won't feel love anymore, and I haven't. So like that's the thing that makes it funny to me because I was right.
Oh, shut up.
Well,
Fucking shut.
I don't mean right in the thing of like not feeling like I don't mean right in the way of it was a good choice. I mean right in like in that oh well I somehow kept it up. I don't know how.
There is definitely a difference between how one feels romantically and how one feels sexually. I that is definitely a thing that a lot of asexuals have talked about. Yes.
Yeah. And so like I think because the thing I've noticed is that usually when I get when I subconsciously get flustered because of things like it is because I recognize a piece of like character design or something or like a feature on a person that I like and that I think looks good, and then I'm just like and then for whatever reason that makes me flustered because oh well if I talk about that openly then people will think I'm lying or something. I don't know. Like I joke all the time about freaking like sending your nudes and shit. So, but it you can sort of see some remnants of this consciously as well in the first year that we did videos together, because in Terraria. The like when we watched like those videos, W even pointed that joke out when he said, "Give Jack some wood," and I go, "Oh, you know, I'm not that sort of guy." Which, hey, motherfucker, guess what? But yeah, so and I say, "Hey, I'm not that sort of guy," and that was because I still wasn't completely well. It wasn't a thing of not being comfortable with it, and more it was more of a thing of I was still trying to figure out how much I can joke about shit because we didn't know each other that well. Well, we knew each other well enough, but we weren't we didn't spend as much time just the three of us. So
Yeah.
I didn't know the barriers there yet. Life is weird, and then you die.
That's a good adaptation of that phrase.
Look! I took the Mickey Wasteland perk.
Yeah.
Uh, you, you know. Sometimes I do wonder how much of my weirdness is just because of like some minor brain damage that I got while getting born.
Oh, don't worry about that, brother.
I don't. So sometimes it just does make me wonder because I'm very neurotic and shit. Otherwise as well, because that's something I never brought up before. But sometimes the idea of like, you know, if I can ship myself out there of doing like a freaking a road trip, something or other. But the thing is, like, I wouldn't want to subject y'all to freaking the weirdness that I am 24/7, because it's different dealing with me. I don't know, like 5 hours at a time, if even that. Like every day for a week when we go in really hard, which is usually not the case. But yeah, like it's different doing that and just like being in person and having to deal with that shit in person. I don't know.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, what was I going to say? I don't know. I just woke up an hour ago.
Yeah, you just woke up an hour ago, and I'm like, hey, philosophy.
Philosophy, yes.
For what it's worth, when I was in the womb, I was literally choking on my own shit. So if there's anyone here who has brain damage,
Oh no, I don't mean I think I got brain damage. I'm pretty sure that I got brain damage because that's the only like that's the most likely way that I got epilepsy.
yeah, there's different parts of the brain.
Yeah.
I remember reading a story. No, it wasn't reading a story. It was hearing a story. Hearing a story once about a guy who fell while he fell backwards while walking on the sidewalk and smacked his back of his skull on the pavement. Was blind for an hour, and then his sight just came back, and it's like, oh, well, okay, carry on
Why
then, I
not?
guess.
A couple of cords got locked loose.
Yeah, don't worry, they shook back in place though.
Yeah. So it took an hour because someone was having trouble plugging the USB back in.
Yeah. There's a voice actor who very recently, Tom Kane. You guys may remember he voiced the professor in Powerpuff Girls. He voices
Yeah.
Gandalf in pretty well every video game of the Lord of the Rings, and so on. He voices loads of dudes. And he just recently, either this month or last month, had a aneurysm, but specifically in the language center of his brain. So even he's fine and he can walk and everything now, but he can't really talk. He doesn't understand people when they're saying anything. He can't write. He can't read anymore. But other than that, complete functionality.
Wow.
Which obviously,
that
having it in
sucks.
the language center is really bad for a voice actor, obviously. But
Yeah.
at least
I
he can.
mean, having it at all is pretty shit, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely hear all kinds of weird stories about, like, or of course, the classic story about the guy who was in the rail yard explosion and a rail spike went through his
Yeah.
head, but it only hit the part of his brain that pretty well just gives sympathy. So he kept going, but he just became an asshole,
Yeah. Oh, that. My favorite story with like how weird the brain works is still the guy, I forget his name, the actor who played Malcolm in the Middle.
All
Because
right.
from what I remember, he got in a car crash and literally Malcolm in the Middle and only Malcolm in the Middle got freaking deleted from his brain.
Yes.
So recently he went back and watched the show just to see how he performed because he just doesn't remember.
Yeah. That is very peculiar. I'm trying to remember. It's a similar story, but like the Malcolm in the Middle kid got it in a car crash because he's a race car driver now, right?
I don't remember.
I think so. He got it while racing. Stephen King cannot remember writing a good couple of his books. I want to say he can't remember writing Cujo at all. And he's like famously said that Tommy Knockers is dog shit and he doesn't understand what the hell he was doing when he wrote it. Because he did loads of cocaine in the 80s. And yeah, my mom tried to read Tommy Knockers, and I remember her saying, "This book is god-awful, what the fuck, Stephen King?" I found it really funny to find that, Stephen King agrees.
You know what? If I were him, I'd just release those books under the right name of Stephen Coke.
Yeah, Stephen Coke. He's already had to use an alias once. Come on, man. That'd be a different turn on his whole Richard Bachman thing. Oh, Richard Kochman. Richard Kochman. That's a fucking Metal Gear Solid villain.
Yeah. No,
the Metal Gear Solid villain would be the Metal Gear Solid villain would be named Heroin Kochman.
Richard Kochman is Raiden's real name.
Yeah.
Especially post Revengeance.
Well, no, that'd be Richard Swordman. Oh, Christ. All right. Anything else this week, Addy?
No, I believe that's all I've done.
All right. So, on my week, I did a good couple of things. For one, got around to finally playing just like an hour of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 with my family. Oh boy, that game is like herding cats. Did you have that experience with your family, Pink?
Yep.
Yeah. The decision to start off as the Guardians was an interesting one, but it immediately proved to be a problematic one. Because whoever got stuck playing Gamora was like, oh fuck, I don't want to be Gamora.
There were not enough Rocket Raccoons to go around.
No. Oh, my sister got stuck playing Star-Lord, which is fucking hilarious because she despises Chris Pratt with a passion.
Nice.
How dare.
Okay.
It's because Chris Pratt's a very avid hunter, and she's very much she's a very strong vegan,
Ah.
The
It did.
question about the freaking Ultimate Alliance 3 rocket though. Is he still posh or whatever?
No,
Is he still British? Okay,
no.
those are minus points.
I love Cockney Rocket, but unfortunately, I think it for the rest of time he is going to be New Yorker.
Yep.
I mean that's good enough, but still I like Cockney Rocket better.
I do like that you. I found it really funny. Everyone else, you pretty well just get whoever the game gives you, and I got handed Rocket and Groot. I found it funny how everyone else got to learn the game proper, whereas I got Rocket and Groot, who don't play like anyone else in the game.
Yep.
Nice.
Because everyone else gets a light attack button and a heavy attack button. With Rocket and Groot, you get a Rocket button and a Groot button. And you can press both of them at the same time, and they'll attack at the same time, which is weird.
Yeah. Easily the weirdest character in the game.
People are playing Guilty Gear. You're playing Persona 4 Arena.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty well. And Groot is the actual character, Rocket is the persona.
I don't know. I feel like the other way around is funnier.
It is funnier, yeah. What was I gonna say? I did find it amusing, really amusing, how the game, like, starts off and it's like, okay, you just get the Guardians. And then, like, 30 minutes in, it's like, oh, hey, you unlocked Captain America. You unlocked Iron Man. You unlocked Spider-Man. You unlocked Wolverine. and it just keeps going. And it's like, oh, fuck me.
Did you unlock Sophia yet?
Oh, my God. No, I was like, okay, well, alright, I guess that's over. Good. We don't have to see that again. Fucking 10 minutes later, Venom unlocked. Like, oh, God damn it. And like
once it starts, it doesn't really stop.
Yeah, and like we moved forward just an inch before like we had to quit because the parents had to go to bed, and right as we quit, the game was like Luke Cage unlocked. And I was like, what the fuck?
Achievement unlocked. Go to sleep.
Yeah. No, more like you went to sleep. Moon Knight unlocked.
Yeah.
He's just watching the bed, waiting for somebody to go to sleep. And he's like, "Oh, my time has come." Oh man, I looked at the character list for that game. I'm really tempted to buy the DLC. Like, I haven't put any time in with the game, but like, man, Doctor Doom.
Yep.
I want to be Doom.
Anyways, yeah.
You know what? I kind of want like this is only tangential related, I suppose, but I kind of want a freaking DC game that's tied to something with a camera, so the camera can scan your house for a sofa, and if you have a sofa, then it just unlocks Darkseid immediately as a playable character.
It fucking
It
fucking holograms Darkseid onto your sofa.
Yes.
Like, if there's someone sitting on that seat, then they're just inside the Darkseid hologram.
Yes. Darkseid is doing the drawing like one of your French girls pose.
Yeah. It's the fucking shitty naked Darkseid from Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Dark Khan.
Yeah. I wish NetherRealm would just fucking go for it and add joke unlockable moves in Injustice 3. Just for the sake of it. And fucking give Darkseid, like, make it where Darkseid boom tubes a couch in, and it falls on you.
Yes!
No, make an alternate variation of the boom tube teleport where he goes in the boom tube, but when he comes out the other side, it's like Faust. When Faust comes in from the ceiling from his teleport.
Yeah!
Except Darkseid's sitting in the sofa.
I thought of a similar thing, but using Strive as a base. So what if we take Faust's freaking Scarecrow teleport, but instead of scarecrows, it's couches spinning, and then Darkseid comes out from between the cushions.
Yeah. What, like Danny DeVito and fucking Always Sunny?
Yeah.
Fully naked. And then afterwards, Darkseid says, "I just want to be pure." Alright. I didn't. I put time into Ghost of Tsushima, but I don't think there was anything particularly remarkable to say. I got to try a interesting little thing that I just found out about the other day, and I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. Sure, why not? It was free. So, there is a new little low budget free game released on Steam in like the last week called 6 Seasons and a Game.
Community?
Yeah. It's a community fan game that somehow got released on Steam, admittedly for free, so it doesn't make any money. But it is a first person shooter where they made the fucking Greendale campus, and there's 2 teams. It's either 4v4 or 8v8, I forget which. And you get thrown on either the main timeline team or the dark timeline team. And you get to pick from the 7 study group members or Chang. And it's super low budget. It's made in Unreal Engine, and the graphics are a little poopy. And there's not much of the gameplay. But the developers did say, like, oh yeah, we're just straight up releasing this unfinished so we can go ahead and get it out there, but we're going to be doing a lot more with the game over time. We just wanted to get player feedback and stuff, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's a community paintball first-person shooter. It had to be the Paintball Wars, of course.
Yep.
Once a season, you know. And it's got this strange mechanic that I've never seen in a first-person shooter. I was actually surprised by the decision to include a new mechanic. For one thing, there's just like the hardcorest drop-off on the paintball guns, which isn't a surprise because they're fucking paintball guns, but still. Like, there is a hard distance at which point you fail to do any damage to other players. And there is a mechanic that the game calls dodge, exclamation point. And what
It's Piccolo.
Yeah. What it does is, if you're standing completely still, then you take damage as normal. If you are walking, you can take one hit that you just entirely ignore, and it recharges after a little bit. And if you're sprinting, you can take 3 hits that you entirely just ignore. And you've got a little dodge meter in the bottom left that tells you, you're walking, you can take X amount of hits. You're sprinting, you can take X amount of hits. And it gets, hits detract from the dodge meter, and so on, right?
Right.
And, like I said, the game isn't fleshed out at all. But I am nonetheless interested that they have not only made a goofy FPS fan game of a fucking what might as well be a sitcom, and decided, you know what if we actually came up with a unique mechanic for this?
Yeah.
I tried it for like probably 10 minutes, and it's not very good, but it is very much one of those situations of, what's Palpatine say in episode 2? We will watch your career with interest, or something like that. And the last thing I got to play this week. Oh, right. Yeah, well, I guess that's just kind of normal. I did put time into Warhammer 2. I am in this strange place with Warhammer 2 where, for one thing, the game's fucking massive, so every time I come back, it feels like I'm playing a different game just because I'm playing a different faction. But I'm starting to get to the point where I'm trying to figure out how to get better at the campaign, rather than just modding the game to make the campaign easier. By which I mean, there are certain mechanics that I was just ignoring before, out of sheer ignorance. You know that thing when you play a game for 100 hours, and there's that one button that you pressed once when you're starting the game, and you're like, well, this button is obviously useless, I'm never going to use it. And you go 100 hours of playing the game, and 100 hours in, you try that button again, and you're like, oh no, that button's, like, incredibly good, and I was supposed to be using it the entire time. And it fundamentally changes the way the entire game is played. And I've just been entirely ignoring that.
W. So, I bought Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 in 2019, and in 2019 it was my second most played game after freaking Tekken 7. because in Tekken 7 I had like 200 hours, and in Drive 2 I only had 100.
Yeah.
It took me until like this year to actually like try to at least sometimes remember to use faultless defense and slashback.
Slashbacks in Rev?
Well, maybe I forget because I don't use them enough to remember.
Brother, you
I-
do not gotta tell me. I forget to use burst. Like,
I feel like slashbacks in it, but I may be confusing it because when I took a deep dive in that, I was also trying to learn Baiken so I can give pink tips, and I may be confusing it with Baiken's parry mechanic, which has been changed in between the games.
yes, it has a lot. You know what? I've actually got something to say about fighting games and this kind of same thing in just a little bit. But yeah, with Total Warhammer 2, how do you think it feels for being 2,200 hours into a game and being like, oh no, this button's actually like probably how I should have been playing from the start? So yeah, when I first started up Total War Warhammer 2, it was like, oh, armies can enter ambush stance. They can't move, but if they are invisible to the AI, and if an AI army walks into one of your armies that's in ambush stance, then you get to ambush them, which means that they have to deploy basically in a column that they get no choice as to how it deploys, and you can deploy literally anywhere else on the map. So basically, the opponent is put in the perfect position for a fucking without lube, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's useless. When am I going to have the AI walk into me, right? No, it turns out the actual point of ambush stance is the part that I mentioned earlier. The AI can't see your armies when they're in ambush stance. I've always had a problem with this game because the AI is really good at being able to fucking mirror your movements and make it where they don't have any weak spots because they'll just go to where they're weak.
Ah, yes, chess AI.
Yeah. Yeah, they just fucking dance with you, right? You do the fucking tango.
Yeah.
Turns out having an invisible army is really helpful for that. And yeah, that changes everything. And there's like a bunch of mechanics to support ambushing. Like, oh, your ambush has a way higher chance. You have a way higher chance to be invisible if you do it in the forest or in a swamp. And it's like, oh, fuck. I fucking suck, bro. And the last thing I did this week was, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try out that Shadow Lab feature in Killer Instinct 2013 because I've talked about it before and I want to see what it's really like. And I downloaded Killer Instinct 2013, and I was really, really disappointed by the fact that you can only have 2 characters recorded for your AI. But I was really pleased with how it actually shakes out. Because the AI does play like me. Turns out I suck and can kick my own ass, but nonetheless, the AI does actually play like you do. Which means the AI drops a lot of combos.
Hey, you just need to play Rushdown. You'll be fine.
That is just the ultimate insult. That you're so bad the fucking AI imitating you drops combos.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the thing with my Killer Instinct AI was a bit more embarrassing, at least to me, because like dropping combos is one thing, but because of how I play Killer Instinct, which is not really, but because of how I play Killer Instinct, I tried setting up a Saber Wolf AI, and I mean it did copy me pretty good because it would do really good Oki, and then the combos would just be neutral jab, neutral jab, crouching jab, resulting in Saber Wolf biting out the opponent, and the whole audience is becoming woof 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 woof. Which yes, that is a pretty good descriptor of how I play Saber Wolf, and I can actually tell what the hell's going on. But somehow I played him better when there was like the delay when we did the remote play thing with Steam.
My understanding is Saberwolf is just all cross-ups all day.
I
And
mean, maybe, but one of the joys I get out of playing characters of different playstyles is that I don't like I adjust to playing the character somewhat, and I also adjust the character somewhat to me.
yeah. And KI
That
has big enough movesets that you can do that, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I'm very vocal about disliking games trying to simple down everyone, because they're removing the option to be able to adjust the character to me as well a bit.
Yeah, the primary problem with Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
But playing, it was weird playing against the AI recordings of me. And it's like, oh, he's using the exact same footsie buttons I do. This is an interesting problem to have. Because I was playing Thunder and we're just both sidekicking at each other. But since I'm bad at, like, confirming and converting hits into full combos, we're just kind of awkwardly kicking each other back and forth without actually doing big combos or taking advantage of our correct pokes. So we're just two assholes, like, kicking each other in the shins back and forth.
You're doing the guile.
Yeah. And, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I will say that it's a pity you can only have two characters, because Shadow Lab is a really good motivation to get into playing the characters proper and, like, playing the game a lot more. As I do find that that's a problem with single player and fighting games, is like, after you complete arcade mode with a given character and story mode, it's like, what motivation do I have to continue playing the game? And with Shadow Lab, it's like, oh, well, we can just constantly throw you against AIs that someone's recorded. So you can pretty well play online without having to worry about people cheesing. Or, you know, the anxiety of, like, what if, like, he's super good and just crushes me? Or the anxiety of, like, what if he's an asshole or so on, right?
I can tell you from experience that doesn't go away with Shadow Labs. I had less anxiety going up against people in the Strive beta somehow.
Heh! I think it does
yeah.
also not really help. Strive was a very new game and everybody was learning it. Whereas with KI 2013, like, you and me are getting it. When you and me play KI 2013, we're getting in super late. The game's been out for fucking forever, you know?
I suppose that's true to an extent, but I don't know, because I played I played like 7 or so matches against randos in Strive when the beta was a thing, and out of those 7 or so matches, I lost 5, but I had fun because I thankfully even before then I was able to adapt the whole proper way of thinking about that, which is, oh well, try to look for freaking gaps in your armor and try to poke holes in theirs. And I
Yeah.
actually had I had a lot of fun playing against this one guy who was also a chip main, and it was the stupidest chip mirror matches that you can imagine. And the only thing that stopped the set was the freaking StriveNet code deciding that we can't be matched up anymore, and then the freaking just straight up crashing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying it's like one of those things where, like, not necessarily that you gotta win all the time, because I don't like the, like, oh, you play to win. Well, no, playing to win I can kind of get, but, like, only having fun when you're winning is a mentality I don't get. What I mean more so is when you get so utterly fucking crushed and devastated by the opponent that you just, like, oh, alright.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference to be made there, because playing to win is not a really good mentality to have, but you have to play to win to have a motivation to do shit. So you have to keep it at your mind that at the end of the day you want to win, but you need to set up smaller goals in the match until you reach that.
Yeah, what I mean when I say, like, I don't have a problem with the play to win mentality is, like, the scrub quotes, right? When people are like, you only care about winning, that's why you only threw fireballs. Oh, you only care about winning, that's why you just kept jumping on me. You know, those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I can kind of get I can get their frustration even if it's misdirected, but I think the thing for me is that usually when I think of the sort of people who would be like, yeah, I play for play for winning, they're usually the kind of people who sniff their own farts. So
Yeah, I mean,
like
I'm more specifically trying to say, like, I don't agree with the guys who are like, every playstyle that isn't mine is a degenerate playstyle, right?
yeah, that is wrong.
It's the mentality of the only characters that should be in Street Fighter are Shotos. I can't have any of those fucking knuckle dragon grapplers.
I heard a better one. Which was that. Which one was that? Everyone should be removed, especially Shotos, because Shotos are boring. We should only have grapplers.
Oh, ooh. I feel like with
Like
Street Fighter, you could at least make an interesting game out of all grapplers, but there are some games where that would not
no,
work.
they tried. They tried. We did get Saturday Night Slam Masters
That's
once upon a
true.
time.
That's
But, like,
true, but that was back in the day when Capcom didn't fully know what the fuck they were doing.
No, that was back in the day when Capcom actually made good fighting games.
Hey!
But yeah, all the shade.
I mean,
Hey
there's
there, the people are drilling under me. Can you hear the drill?
yeah.
It's very
I
nice.
can. Yes.
I mean, back in the day, there was... Yeah, I mean, well, not back in the day. There's big enough differences between Zangief compared to Hugo compared to Alex, you know?
I mean, yeah, but there's good enough differences between Akuma, Ken, and Ryu. Doesn't really mean that they're not like, you know, there's a good enough difference if you actually try to learn the characters. But
Yeah.
like but immediately if I don't actually freaking like try to learn Hugo, or if I didn't try to learn Hugo, I wouldn't be able to point out the differences between him and Zangief.
I wonder if it's one of those things of people who only look at fighting games for aesthetics. And, like, Zangief and Hugo are very similar characters, but they have entirely different looks and animations and models and so on. Whereas, comparatively, like, Ryu plays very different from Akuma, who plays very different from Dan, but they share a lot of the same animations. So, for people who look at fighting games purely aesthetically, you know.
Maybe.
And I think there's a lot of people who just take fighting games at face value, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Says person who takes fighting game at face value.
Exactly.
I don't know. Pink got into Guilty Gear. I don't think we can.
I got into Viking. That was.
You
about
wish you could get into biking.
it. That is also true.
Anyways, we'll see.
You had 5 million others.
Alright, so I think we can call that a podcast. Addy, say biking.
no bike and no buy.
Oh! Alright, we'll see you later, folks.